So hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you have seen my last episode, you would know that we spent our morning exploring Shymbulak, and honestly that vlog got a bit too long, so I decided to split it into two parts, and this is part 2 of the same day, 6th of June. And right now we are heading out of our Airbnb and off to Arbat Street, and today is Eid and I'm really curious to see how the locals celebrate it here. So far everything seems to be open, no road closures, no restrictions, which is really great. If you have missed the last episode, do go check it out on my channel. I have shared our entire Shymbulak experience, including how we took a local bus, how to track routes using Yandex Maps, and even how to check Shymbulak's weather and ticket info on their website. Super useful if you are planning a trip here anytime soon, and especially in the summer. And since it's also a Friday evening, I'm expecting Arbat Street to be buzzing with that energy and that vibe. And we actually had been to Arbat Street once before, just a few days back when we had lunch at Degirmen, but that time was more relaxed, not too crowded. But this time I'm hoping to see a more lively and festive vibe, and maybe even a little more transformation of the street by those evening lights. So alright then, let's now continue with the vlog today. I have booked my Yandex cab and it should be here in about few minutes, so let's go. So now our cab has dropped us off at the corner of the Arbat Street again, and just like I had mentioned earlier in one of my vlogs, there can be a bit of confusion if you simply enter Arbat Street on Yandex Go app. And the street has multiple entry points, so sometimes what happens is the drivers aren't exactly sure where to stop. So here's a quick pro tip: always set a specific restaurant or a shop as your drop-off point instead of just typing the street name. That way you will end up exactly where you want to be. And I usually pin Degirmen shop as my landmark. It's right at the corner and it works perfectly every time. I can see a lot of lights and shops put up, so let's check out what is happening there. Someone is making candy canes here, and just a little ahead there's this huge purple ice cream truck. It looks so cute and retro, almost like something straight out of a comic book. And I have actually seen quite a few of these ice cream trucks around Arbat Street, and they look really tempting. I do remember some vloggers mentioning that when you are in Almaty, you must try the local ice creams, so that's definitely on our to-do list tonight. And alright then, let's head into this vibrant, glittering stretch. Looks like a full-on flea market with lots of pop-up stalls and local vendors. So let's see if we can find some real treasures over here. And the first one to welcome us in is this big kitty cat. Hi. So how can anyone resist the charm of shopping, right? And even though I'm not someone who usually buys random knickknacks, I love window shopping. Just looking around, soaking in these colors and creativity. And here there's just so much to see. And since we are almost at the end of our Almaty trip, my mind is already on souvenir mode, trying to pick up a few thoughtful things to take back home as gifts. And just look at these adorable fridge magnets and dolls. So this region is known for its puppet shows, and you will find so many cute doll-shaped magnets like this one. These are all the magnets in the shape of old men playing some kind of a musical instrument, and they are all so cute. I seriously want to buy all of them.
How much is this? Tenge? 1,500.
And I just checked the price, so it's like 1,500 tenge, which is definitely a bit on the pricey side, but you cannot expect really cheap stuff from these kind of pop-up shops. So yeah, and I honestly have my heart set on some of them. Still, my mom, being the practical one, she is suggesting that we look around a bit more before buying anything, because you know how it goes, we always end up buying the first thing we fall in love with. So we are now heading towards this big kitty themed shop.
Oh, thank you.
This is Chinese market.
Snacks. Oh, okay. But I cannot read any of this, huh?
This is Oreo, which is very delicious. Very matcha.
Acha, matcha biscuits, okay.
Oreo matcha.
I cannot read this, okay? I don't read this. I only read English.
Okay.
You can have it. Oh. Thank you.
The next one is also an Asian shop, and here they were making live noodles with the choice of your sauces. They were also selling softy ice creams. There were so many shops selling toys of all kinds, and the kids were absolutely loving it. They were running around, playing, and just having the time of their lives. So the whole place was so cheerful and festive. And one store that totally stood out had this amazing 3D printed cat figurines. They were so quirky and detailed, they instantly caught our attention. And honestly, they are looking something straight out of an art fair rather than a regular toy shop.
Hey.
After passing by all of those shops, we finally reached the part of the street that was all about live music. And the vibe completely shifted. Suddenly, there were street performers everywhere, setting up all kinds of different musical instruments. And then this one duo really caught my attention. Two young guys playing the dombura and the dangira. The rhythm, the energy, the passion, it was all incredible. And we stopped right there for a while, completely drawn by their performance. The beat was infectious, the tempo was perfect. Just listen to this. And now we wandered over to this parallel lane that runs alongside the Arbat Street. And what stood out were these little, unique kind of joints, food joints. Like this one place serving ice cream wrapped in a waffle roll. So unique and it sounds so fun. And there were actually quite a few ice cream shops along this stretch, each one looking more tempting than the other. So we'll definitely come back and grab some ice cream today. That's on the agenda. There were so many flavors to choose from: coconut, strawberry, muskmelon, blueberry, almond, hazelnut, and so many other options. But the fun part was that everything was written in Kazakh, so we could not really read the names. We were basically guessing the flavors by looking at the picture on the labels. So, this is the same street where Degirman restaurant is located, and it's packed with so many other food joints too. So, you'll find everything from shawarma and doner outlets to pizza places and ice cream stalls. The options are pretty endless on this street, and the prices are a little bit on the higher side compared to other parts of the city. But today we do not have any dinner plans here. We are skipping eating for now. We are just soaking in the atmosphere and exploring the place, what it has to offer. But tomorrow will be our last day in Almaty, and we are definitely planning to dine out and try something local before we wrap up our trip. And then we came across this pottery stall. It looked really fun. Basically, they give you all the clay and all the tools, and you can actually try your hand at making pottery right here. The people running it are super helpful, and they will be guiding you through shaping and creating your own little masterpieces. And there was this girl who was trying to make something out of the clay. It was really heartwarming to watch. It did seem a bit expensive, around 3000 tenge per try. That's, I think, what we heard. So we didn't try it, but it looked really interesting. And honestly, there are so many activities like this along the street that it's totally a family friendly zone. If you're traveling with kids, they are going to have an absolute blast here. And then there are also shops and malls nearby, but we weren't really in the mood to shop for clothes or accessories. Our focus was more on the food scene. So we decided to just explore the entire stretch, take notes of what looked tempting, and then come back later to try out those. And here's something fun. We spotted so many Indians around, like newlyweds, families, kids. It almost felt like walking through some kind of an Indian city abroad, and the energy was so familiar and warm. And towards the end of this particular stretch, we noticed a singing setup being prepared. Not exactly karaoke, but more like a live music corner where people would be performing songs. They were still setting up when we passed by, so we decided to circle back later and check it out once it has been set up. And just then, someone began to sing. And then there are upscale restaurants like these, which look something like out of Paris. And as we were casually strolling along, suddenly we heard a Hindi song being played, and not just any song, it was a song from DDLJ or Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. And we had to check it out, obviously. Since there are quite a few Indian medical students living here, you will actually find a really nice mix of youngsters, both locals and Indians, and it's amazing how well they blend in together. The energy is just so friendly and effortless. We then circled back to the spot where we had earlier seen the performers setting up, and by now the whole vibe had completely changed. The music had picked up, people were dancing, and the atmosphere was electric. So we decided to stay back and see what's happening, and little did we know it was about to become one of the most memorable moments of our entire evening. That was awesome, truly awesome. The energy, the music, the vibe, the whole street had come alive. And it all began with just two women dancing, but within minutes the crowd grew. People gathered around, cheering, clapping, filming, completely caught up in the moment. And those two ladies absolutely stole the show. They were confident, graceful, and full of life. Genuine showstoppers who managed to engage the entire crowd. And soon it wasn't just a performance, it felt like a celebration. I even noticed someone filming it, maybe from the local news channel. And what struck me most was how warm, open, and inclusive the atmosphere was. This is a Muslim majority country, and I'll admit I hadn't expected such a free, vibrant, and expressive street scene over here. But this evening completely changed my perspective. People here don't judge you for how you dress, where you come from, which background you are from, which gender you are from. Everyone is simply enjoying the moment together, men, women, locals, tourists, everyone together. And I have to say this, as a woman traveler, it felt so safe. Unlike in many other places, even in my own country, I didn't sense any kind of discomfort or unwanted attention, even though the dancers were performing right there in the open. And everyone's reaction was very respectful and appreciative. It showed me how culturally rich yet progressive the city is, how people here have learned to celebrate joy without any kind of a judgment. So, to all those women travelers out there, this is your sign. If you're considering Almaty, definitely go for it. It's welcoming, safe, and full of heart. And after soaking in that incredible moment, we started walking back the same route, making sure we didn't miss any of those cute little shops along the way. By now, the streets were even more crowded and it was getting late, but the city was only getting livelier. And Fridays here are definitely something else. So, if you are ever planning a trip to Almaty, make sure your itinerary includes a Friday evening at Arbat Street. It's when the place truly comes alive with music, laughter, and magic. And now that we have covered most of the stretch here, all that excitement has made us a little hungry. So, now, before heading home, we will just have some ice cream. Just like back home in India, you will get both cup and cone options here too. We decided to go with the cone and a single scoop, and I picked the strawberry mascarpone cheesecake gelato. Doesn't that sound delicious already? It's priced at 790 tenge per cone, single scoop, which isn't too bad considering how tempting it looks. So, yes, let's give it a try and see how it tastes. And this is how the ice cream looked, absolutely gorgeous and even more delicious than it looked. And this was our first ice cream in Almaty, and now we are both wondering why we did not try it earlier during our stay. It is one of the best we had in a while. So if you are in Almaty, do not skip on the gelatos here, they are seriously that good. After that amazing ice cream, we are just strolling around. It's about 9:30 p.m. and can you believe how vibrant the city still looks? It honestly doesn't even feel like night yet, and that's because it's summertime here and the sun sets around 8 p.m. So technically, it has just been an hour since the sunset. And what I love most about this place is how alive the streets are. Everywhere you look, there are families, kids, couples hanging out together. The locals here really value family time, and you will find them out late, dining, chatting, and enjoying the beautiful evening. So now we have moved to a street which is perpendicular to the Arbat Street. We are just exploring what's around. You can see some Korean restaurants here. There are shawarma and doner stalls, many of them, and a lot of cozy little cafes. Some shops are closed by now, but most of the restaurants are still open. And look at this. There's a boba tea shop with this giant model of a bubble tea cup outside. It's so cute and eye catching. And boba tea really seems a very popular option here. I have noticed so many stalls serving it across the city. One thing that stands out and I really appreciate is how safe and inclusive the city feels. You will see all the women walking around freely, dressed however they like, at any time of the day. No judgment, no stares, no unsafe feeling, nothing. So everyone's just doing their own thing, groups of girls dining together, people enjoying a quiet evening, and everyone has their own safe space when they're out in the city. So it's got that open, relaxed, cosmopolitan vibe that you usually associate with major international cities. And if you're someone looking for budget friendly food options, I would say this part of the street is better than Arbat Street. Since it is not as touristy as Arbat Street, prices here are a bit cheaper, and you will still find great shawarmas, donuts, Indian palate friendly dishes at pocket friendly prices. So there's also a street across this one, just cross the street, and there's a parallel lane where you will find plenty of local eateries to explore. And we even spotted what looks like a subway entrance, probably leading down to the metro. So getting around here, around this Arbat Street, is also super convenient. And anyway, this is where we are wrapping up for the day. We have reached the end of the street, and since it is getting late and we are really hungry again, we are heading back towards Arbat Street and then to our Airbnb for dinner. So tonight it's going to be a comforting home cooked meal again, dal, sabzi and chicken. And it has been a fantastic day, from our morning in Shymbulak to the lively evening here in Arbat Street. We have done over 7,000 steps today, and every bit of it was worth it. So if you haven't already seen those, make sure you check out both parts of this vlog, and you will find plenty of useful travel tips and hopefully get a good feel of the Almaty vibe in summer. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe and drop in your questions in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them. See you soon in the next video. Until then, take care and keep exploring.